All right, welcome in hour two. Gentle people, hello. Welcome into hour two of Mayday. I am going through Mailbag and we are halfway through. I am very excited to talk about the rest of these questions with you. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you are new and joining us, welcome in. And if you are with us, thank you for staying from the last hour. All right. So what I did is I asked a bunch of questions. Many of you may have seen this. I asked in the Instagram community. I asked on YouTube, and we have about 30 of the 30 of your questions. We've answered 11 of them already, and we're oh my God, my watch is driving me crazy. I can't get it to stop notifying me. Like no matter what I do, it keeps buzzing, and it's just okay. So we're gonna go through the questions. All right, back to the questions. Let's get it. Let's do this thing right here, right now. Like we always have. Okay, so I actually want the chat to be up there too. I want to see what you guys have to say. So, guys, if you ever have questions, remember, you can ask them in the Discord, and I try to catch them there all the time anyways. So, what is going on? There we go. All right, next question. Man, what does it mean to be put on waivers? That's a good question. I actually did this in what it's like to get DFA'd in the major leagues already. There's a video I have on my YouTube, so you check that out. But being put on waivers is a fairly simple, straightforward thing. Good thing I have something called a whiteboard to show you what it means. Okay, so getting put on waivers. This is, in essence, where is the mouse? Where's the mouse? Okay, there it is. Jesus, okay. That's so funny. That's just how my day's going, guys. I hope your guys' days are going pretty well. Can I go undo? Okay. So this is how it works, all right? So first things first, you get DFA'd. Why is that doing that? Why would it be too small? Okay, so you have to get DFA'd first before you can be put on waivers. Waivers work exactly like they do in fantasy football and in other sports. You're put into a pool. There is a draft order, and the teams can pick you up. But in order to get there, you have to be designated for assignment. There's two things that can happen at that time. There is first a window of opportunity. So there is a 3-day, is it 3-day? Oh, that's a line. I don't want that. It's something like a 3 days, okay? So you usually get a 3-day window to where people know you've designated a player, but that player is currently in limbo, meaning they're just kind of floating around, okay? They're still part of your organization but you just don't know where to go yet. So when you're a player in that 3-day window, you know what to do. Oftentimes, there's been a lot of controversy, players getting angry. When they have been DFA'd, they're not playing. They've been DFA'd, and they're in the minors or something, and they just haven't been playing, but they don't know it, which is really, really annoying. It doesn't happen that often anymore, but it does happen, okay? So you get 3 days. Then you realize, then you find out one of three things. You've either, in those 3 days, teams find out you've been DFA'd, so then you can work out a trade with the team that has DFA'd them. So that basically the team can pull them back off of waivers. So basically you've been put on waivers, but like the draft hasn't happened yet. So you get this 3-day buffer. They can either, so that's one of three things happen. You either get traded. Why is that happening? That's super annoying. You can either get traded, you either get traded, you get placed on waivers, so you enter the waiver wire, or you are released. Those are your options. Okay? So, DFA, 3 days, in one of three things. You're either traded, they work out a trade, or you're just straight up placed on waivers, which then puts you into the waiver system, and then the team there's teams that order, and then another team will pick you up and put you right on. What they have to do is they have to put you where you just came from. So if you're on the big leagues, if you're on a big league team, they got to put you in the big leagues. Okay? So, or then you're just released, and it's just your unconditional release. Basically, you're still gonna get paid your salary. You don't even have to play it anymore. They're gonna eat your salary, and you can sign with anybody as a free agent. that team that selects you as a free agent then only has to pay the minimum for you, and the other team has to pay the rest of your salary. So your unconditional release allows that, okay? Or you can take your assignment. So I guess there's 4 things that can happen here, okay? Wow, this is really effective. I'm glad MS Paint's so easy to use. You can take your assignment. So, or you can just say, I'll go to AAA and I'll hang out because I know I'm going to be called up again. And some guys take that because they're kind of fringe guys that keep going up and down, and they like where they're at, they like the organization they're in, and they know that's just going to happen somewhere else. Okay? So, or usually it's between the bottom two. They're like, you can be released or you can take your assignment to AAA, we'll take you. Right? It's a choice between those. So I guess it's 3A and 3B. But these are the options. And the middle one there is waivers. That's what happens when you put on waivers. It means you go through, if they can't work out a trade and now you're in the waiver system, and if someone picks you up off the waiver system, now they take your salary. That is how that works. I hope that makes sense, or is even remotely easy to understand. Because I worked very hard on that. That was hard. I didn't like that. Okay. Moving forward. Next question. This is a long one. I'm going to read it to you. I might have to make this big. Do major league players, okay, so this was interesting to me. I'm going to try to hit it real quick. Do major league players lose perspective that they are getting paid 20 to 100x what average people do to watch their games are getting paid? So, like, basically the question is, do players lose the perspective that they are making so much money than more fans? I'm not making an accusation here. I'm just thinking if I made that kind of money to play a game I love, it would be a shame if I lost that perspective. Now, how do major leaguers maintain a responsible awareness of the fact that they have a job everyone else wishes they could have? So, this is an interesting question that gets asked a lot. What is interesting to me is the idea that I don't know what responsible awareness means. If you mean don't lose perspective, like don't complain about things that are stupid and small, privileged things, like your charter flight leaving late, or there being no free Wi-Fi, or your hotel's like insane amenity isn't working when you're there. That kind of thing, rich person stuff. That might be hard, but I really don't see, a lot of guys come from fairly humble backgrounds. I don't see that very much. But like when it comes to talking about labor relations, which is when I hear this a lot, I hear this argument a lot, when I'm like, hey guys, it's important to fight for these things and whatever. And people say, well, you're rich, why do you care? I'm like, because they're richer. Like you can't just say, yes, sir, may I have another, because they'll just keep taking more and more and more. That's what they do. So like, I always try to make this case as a worker and as a player that it's very important for me to do this stuff and me to yell at the ownership so that other people in other industries can also yell at their ownership. I want to make a lot of money because I want it to help other industries make a lot of money, like workers in other industries. That's what's important. So it's like, sure, it's millions of dollars, but that's because we're doing this. If we didn't do this, we'd be paying $100,000. We'd be getting paid, $200,000-$300,000 a year, and the billionaires would still be making billions, right? So like that's not fair. So you have to fight. So I don't know if it's in context with that, but just to answer your question, yes, sometimes guys lose perspective, but it depends on what you mean by responsible awareness and if that's really a thing. Being out of touch really isn't a responsibility thing. It's just kind of annoying. But beyond that, like there's not, if you have an expectation that they're inordinately like that athletes have to always be super grateful for everything all the time, every moment of every day, they're still human. They're still going to just be like, yeah, I'm used to this and this sucks sometimes. Like it's just the way we are. There has to be room for some of that. It's important. And I will say this for now. I was there. I was like, if I made that much money, I wouldn't act that way. Rookies say it all the time. Guys are like, I'll sign for the minimum for 10 years. And then 2 years later, they realize they're pretty good and their other people are making way more money than them. And suddenly, that's not good enough anymore. And that's how it works. That's how it works. All right, let's just do a few more because I want to do some going deep. I have a ton here, but we're gonna skip a bunch because there's so many. But these are actually quick. Okay, favorite team that I didn't play for, the Seattle Mariners. I didn't play for the Seattle Mariners, and I wanted to play for the Mariners. And there's a little bit of a I didn't like Jerry Dipoto very much because of this, but I've come around because he got Naylor and Suarez this year, and I thought that was a really savvy move. So he has earned a lot of points. Still didn't really play ball with me though. That didn't make me very happy. Okay, do you think dads who play baseball should teach their little girls how to play? Yes, I think girls should play baseball because it's fun. If you prefer softball, great. If you prefer soccer, phenomenal. If you prefer nothing, like my wife, great. Do whatever you want. But I do wish there was more opportunities for girls to play to play baseball. And just like we do with every other sport, like, women's basketballs are a little smaller because women are just smaller on average. What's going on out there? What if we did something similar to baseball? Instead of them throwing 60 feet 6 inches, they throw from 53 feet to make 84 really hard. Maybe center field's 340 instead of 410. Maybe center field's 320. Maybe it's 295 down the lines. Maybe it's 285. You know what I mean? Like, we have a lot to work. Maybe the bases are 82 feet away. Like, you know what I mean? Just make it a little bit smaller because they're just generally smaller. Like, feels pretty simple. Like, there's no reason you can't throw overhand. There's no reason you can't do any of the things. We already play softball. We already swing bats well. We already play the game. There's no reason that it needs to be a bigger ball and thrown underhand. Why not? Right? I think it's cool. That's a great question, and that would be cool. I think that you just like shrink things down a little bit to make it feel as explosive and like athletic as it would on a bigger field. It's just because that's just like we're kind of just bigger generally on average. It's just the way it works. All right. City you think deserves a winning team that doesn't have one? Cough, cough. I'm in one of them. And vice versa. City with a good team with bad fans. I don't think there are such thing as bad fans. There are critical fans. There are mean fans sometimes, but I don't think there is any such thing as a bad fan. So I don't really know what I would say for that. But I will say a couple places that deserve winning teams. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh deserves a winning baseball team. I'm trying to think of Cleveland. Cleveland deserves a winning team. Any winning team that wins anything. Cleveland. I got you, Cleveland. Now, Detroit has the Lions now, but like maybe Detroit or Cleveland. You know what? Let's just say Detroit and Cleveland, man. They need a Minnesota too. The Midwest. Let's do the Midwest Bowl there. Milwaukee. Nah, they won the NBA Finals a few years ago. They're good. They won one. I'll say Minnesota, Detroit, Cleveland. Basically, 3/5 of the AL Central. Minus Chicago. I mean, Chicago's awesome. Chicago had the bowl. Like, they still have the bowl. Like, I think the bowl stuff is 20 more years of bowl stuff. How's that sound? All right. Dude, I have so many questions. I didn't think I would get through this many. All right. So I'm going to put this up to you guys. So I have some more questions from the Instagram stuff. It's like 10-ish. They are shorter if you're interested. They're good though. Do you guys want to see these questions? I kind of want to do these questions. And then we're going to go in and we're going to break down the rookies. Oh, and then we have another thing too. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. In the chat, let me know. Type 1 in the chat if you guys want to see some more questions because we got some good ones. I wouldn't mind answering them. But I'm going to leave it up to you because it is a lot. But I got to see a lot of them. If you guys are just chilling, you're like, you know what? Whatever you want to do, man, just type 1. I mean, there's more than 4 of you. There's 5 of you. All right, game set it. Game set it. We're in. All right, let's rapid fire these ones a little bit. Just got here. What's the question? We're gonna keep going questions. Just chilling. How's the daily grind to go back to throwing to 100 going, Trevor? It's going good, Zetters. TrevorThrowsCheese.com. You can see where I'm at. All right. Continuing on, Andrew Johnson. How do teams decide who their MLBPA representative is and how often does it change? They decide by saying, this is literally how it works. They walk. We have a meeting at the beginning of the year. They go, All right, who wants to do it? And then everyone goes. And then someone goes, I think May should do it. And then they nominate him. And then I'm like, I'll do it. And they're like, cool, you were it. And that's how it works. And then I have it until I leave, basically. So if you have a guy, they just assume you're going to do it the next year. So if you don't want to do it anymore, you have to actively try to get somebody else to do it. For a long time, it was that way, but I think guys are taking more of an initiative to do it. So that's how it works. When Yu Darvish is calling his own pitches, what type of power does his catcher have? Can his catcher shake him off, pick a spot, etc.? Nope. As we saw with Framber Valdez today, nope. Nope. You better be on the same page. You better throw what the pitcher wants to throw, or he's going to throw what he wants to throw. At the end of the day, the pitcher has to make the decision. He has to throw the pitch. So if you don't defer, you need to defer to him, and then whatever happens is on him at that point. So, like, that's just the way it is. But, like, most times, though, there is a professional relationship happening where if, for example, Yadier Molina was a good one who's like, just throw what I say. He was one of those guys who had that gravitas who could do that. And most guys would say, yes, sir. But like Yu Darvish might be like, no, Yachty, I want to throw this. And then Yachty would then have to be like, all right. Because at the end of the day, it is the final decision of the pitcher. All right. It's always the final decision. The pitcher is pitching. The pitcher is throwing the pitch. Don't forget that. All right. Long one. What is the contrast between a starter and reliever's arm health throughout the season? Starters off days let them perfectly curate their recovery and maintenance. Meanwhile, relievers are just kind of have to figure it out. How much of a difference does it make for an individual with September or October come around? Very well said. It sucks as a reliever. I would say starters and routine. There's a reason that guys love starting and don't like relieving, and that's usually the way. If you have an opportunity to start, you do it. Yeah, they make more money, but also it's very predictable. And you can get your days off. You can take full days, spa days, as we call them. They have like one every 5 days. Relievers maybe get 2 spa days a year. So like, it's just a different type of beast. That said, as a reliever, you just go out, your job takes 15 minutes. Starters might take an hour and a half to 2 hours, right? So it's like, do you like to work for a really long time, just one time a week? Or do you like to work a little bit every day? It's up to you. But I will say they know what a fresh arm feels like more than a reliever does, at least up until about 2/3 of the year. And then at the end, you guys are all hanging. Everybody's hanging. Nobody's hurting. Nobody feels good. Oh my God, these are long. Okay, what is the trade deadline like? And what's going through your mind is other players' mind when they hear their names in the rumors. So it gets distracting. I felt pretty distracted by it in 2023. You can worry about a lot, especially if your team's out of it. That said, once it's over, it's over. You just forget about it. And I have a great video about what happens when players get traded. You should check that out on my YouTube channel as well, or in the videos somewhere. It's down there. But you leave literally after that game, whenever that. So the trade deadline is, you are probably going to be expected to be in your new city the next day. Like new city, suited up in that uniform with that new team the next day. It's literally that next day. If there's an off day or something, you might get one day. Like if you have a extenuating circumstances, a family thing, or like, you know, you have to go to a city first and come back. Sometimes you'll get a day buffer, but very rarely you get more than that. So it's like thank you for your service. See ya. It's that quick. It's crazy. This one was good. Do you think Aroldis Chapman is worth the Cy Young this year? The guy's gotten 46 straight batters out. That's crazy. So let me just preface it by saying that is absolutely bad, crazy. That is nuts. That's what is giving up a hit in 15 innings. That's crazy. That said, he's got a 109. He needs as a reliever these days. You have to throw 90 innings, and he's not going to throw 90 innings. The year Gagne did it, Gagne pitched he was incredile. He won it. And even then, I still think he probably shouldn't have got it. And the starting pitching was a little weak that year. So like, not in a league with Skubal and Crochet. He's not even the most valuable pitcher on his team. It's tough to say. So will he win it? No. Will he get maybe like a top 7 vote? Possibly. I could see that happening. But it is interesting. That is an interesting question. Do players ask other players on other teams for autographs? How does that work? Yes, And Gavin Williams is a guy who I talked to in Foul Territory recently who said he does that. He said it's awkward. So it's a lot of times they send the visiting clubhouse manager over to ask the home clubhouse manager to ask the player to sign something. So they'll like put it in their locker. They'll know it's for a guy. So like guys do this to Trout all the time. I did it with Miggy Cabrera, but he kind of was on a tour at that point. Like he knew it was happening, so it was no big deal. But yeah, very rarely are you walking up to him like you're a little kid because it's weird because you're like kind of like colleagues. But there are certain circumstances where it's not weird. For me, it was always weird. So sometimes you get a third party to do it for you. What's the difference between playing for a small market team and a big market team? Money. Media and fans. So there's just less media around. Usually the fans are a little bit like chiller, a little bit more chill. And it's, yeah, that's basically what my experience has been. But the media coverage is the big thing you notice. You walk into Minnesota after a game, there'd be 6-7 people there maximum. And then you walk into Yankee Stadium, and there'd be 30 reporters there to talk to you. Gagne did not deserve it that year. Jason Schmidt deserved it. Jason Schmidt, Kelso High School. We went, the other guy from my hometown. Small world, huh? Interesting. Can you talk about return to play procedures, thinking specifically of situations like the Astros? So, return to play, guys. If you don't know what return to play is, it is your standards that you go through when determining a guy can come off the IL, basically. So some teams don't do it very well, and their guys come back and they get hurt again, right? The PA watches this very closely. Sometimes they're getting pressured into coming back when they're not ready. So having a really good set of procedures you use in this situation is really important, and it's not really talked about very often. So that's kind of what it is. And there are certain GMs that, for example, just read about Luno from the Astros before Click. And from what I'm hearing anecdotally, he wasn't super worried about player health or the fact that they were human beings that much. He was mostly worried about winning and proving that he was really good at what he did. So sometimes you get guys like that, and that can be frustrating. They can be a little bit more pressuring than you would like them to be. That's what I don't know the person. I don't know. This is just anecdotally through Winning Fixes Everything, the book written by Evan Drellick. So if you want to read it, you'll get that impression as well, probably. So, but that is what that means. Some places are good at it, some aren't as good. Sometimes people come back too soon. Sometimes guys come back too slowly. So that is what that refers to. Good question, though. That was really interesting. My pitcher friends always say that fastballs down the middle don't hit as often as you'd think. Is that true in your experience? Yes. There is a saying amongst pitchers, middle, undefeated. Famously, pitchers would say throwing Vladimir Guerrero Sr. down the middle was the best thing you could possibly do because he was such a good bad ball hitter. So sometimes guys' eyes get so big on fastballs down the middle, they can't hit them hard. Julio Rodriguez struggles with it a little bit. He hits tough pitches better than he hits the easy ones. And that's a real thing. It's almost like you start licking. It's in Rookie of the Year when he's like, whatever the big bopper's name is, when he throws him the floater. Like that would be considered a very easy pitch to hit. It's why some guys struggle to hit position players. It's the same kind of effect. And it's real. It's real. It's a mental thing. It's like the yips. It's weird. We have Trevor Throws Cheese. Will there ever be a segment where Trevor hits dingers, where you learn to hit dingers? Do not threaten me with a good time. Do not threaten me with How cool would that be? Me trying to hit? Who wants to do that? Who wants me to do Trevor hits dingers next? God, that'd be sick. You know why? Because I'm bad at hitting. I'm really bad at hitting. I think that'd be awesome. Like, I think this idea is the best. Hey, AJ Hetty, you're going to get some of the proceeds. No, that's a lie. I don't want to do that. But I do appreciate it. Do you have any indications before you went into the game that you were going to have a good outing? Or that you might have a more challenging outing? Phenomenal question. Yes. there were times where I'd be like, oh God, this is going to be rough. But then there were times where I'd be like, oh, I'm dialed in, and then I'd go give up a homer. So like most of the time my instincts were right, but it was because it was confidence-based, I'm realizing. And as my career went on, I'd be like, oh, it's because I'm confident that I'm being successful, not because I'm actually pitching better. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, you definitely know. There are times when I warm up, and basically it's just like you're throwing, stuff feels really good out of your hands, but it's going exactly where you want it to go. When that happens, when you throw a pitch in the bullpen, he's just like, bah! You're like, whew. And then you throw a pitch that's like moves a lot, and you can tell, you're like, okay. If you get those two things at once, you know you have a good chance. And there were times where I went out and I would meet Shea Langoliers at the mound. I'd be like, sweeper's nasty today, big. All right, and at that point, like you're kind of just dialed in because you've mentally got dialed in. So it's hard to tell which one comes first, is what I'm trying to say. But yes, you definitely know. All right, last two questions. What was your draft experience from the moment you were drafted to the moment you played your first minor league game? Whoa. So I was drafted in June. I made my minor league debut in July. So back in the day, you used to be drafted, and then by the end of July, you have a 2-month buffer period to make your decision if you wanted to take the deal or move on. That window is much smaller now. I don't actually know how small it is now, but it is not 2 months anymore. There used to be things called draft and follows, where you could get drafted and then you could finish your fall ball season and they could watch you play and then decide how much money to give you. But now how the slot system has been completely revamped, and the slots are very specific, and the money is very tightly kept kind of in a bucket, kind of salary capped a little bit. You can't do any of this stuff anymore. So I didn't know if I wanted to. I told my dad I actually wanted to go to school. He said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "No." And then he said, "Do you want to be a professional?" I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Maybe you should go play pro." And I was like, "All right, I'll play pro." As soon as I told him that, I was in Florida in 4 days, and I played my first game in 6. So I stayed in shape that whole time I was playing summer ball. And they just you go down and then you throw a bullpen off the mound and they find a game for you to start. And threw an inning, and I think I threw 12 innings my first year. And had a little IL stint because I was dunking too much at a 24-hour fitness. Don't tell them about it. So, but yeah, that's really how you get drafted. You say yes. They say, here's your itinerary. Here's where you're flying to. Here's who you're going to meet. And here's the day you're leaving. And then you just kind of go. It happens really fast. And I thought 6 weeks was fast. It happened fast. So, but I was really afraid to go. All right. Okay, last question. What do you think is the most Mickey Mouse ballpark in the league? Is this a trick question? The park that crushed me a lot was Houston, actually. I thought the Crawford boxes were a joke. You want me to say New York? I never experienced the small Yankee Stadium effect. I would say Fenway kind of got me a couple times. I got pesky pulled once. But it was Devers, it's not like he's not going to hit it over dead center either if he gets it. So it wasn't like a Punch and Judy getting a homer. But I would say overall Cincinnati, every single time we went there, it was just absolute blast off everybody. Every time I've seen so many teams score 10 runs there in my career. I was never in their division. I only went there a few times, and it was 14-11, whatever. It just was not a place that played well. So I would say Cincinnati is probably the biggest bang box. All right, that was the mailbag. That took forever, but thank you guys. That was awesome. I enjoyed it. It took about 50 minutes. It's probably gonna be 2 videos, but make sure you like and subscribe to this channel and the video if you watched it after the fact. I love doing these things. Let me know in the comments if there's more questions I still haven't answered. And if I have answered them before, I'll just point you to where it was and you can find it. But I love answering the questions. It's my favorite thing to do. So I want to do a little going deep though. I want to talk about some rookie players. So you guys down to talk about some rookies and actually go and check out their baseball savants and actually figure out what to expect for them moving forward? Because I am ready. I'm ready. Sir Chance, a lot. I don't think that applies in this situation, my man, but you do you, my dude. Okay, let's get it. This is going deep. Let's talk about the rookies. Specifically, this guy. This is Peyton Tolley. We also have, we're going to talk about Jonah Tong, and we're going to talk about Nolan McLean of the Mets. I want to go a little bit breakdown of these rookie pitchers and their great stuff and what type of guy they are, and give you a little primer on whether or not I think that this is, they have an opportunity for sustained success. So, before we jump in, because I would like to do Tolley first, I want to give a shout out to this man for his presser. He said, when they came out to get him, he turned around to everybody and said, hey, I just want to let you guys know that you guys are really cool. And that was one of the best things that I've ever seen. As someone who did not internalize how much joy they had playing game, and was super worried about, I grew up showing emotion a lot, to the point where it was embarrassing for me, and also my dad shows emotion and was not very happy when I struggled sometimes, and was very not happy when I showed emotion out on the mound. But I definitely, we both had that in common, and that became a big part of how I saw the game. And so basically a lot of my effort from when I was basically 11 years old was keeping the emotions in check, really just pushing it down, keeping it in the ball and just holding it, right? So, or that's the way I learned to do it. Was it the healthiest way? No, but it is the way I learned to do it. So I used to channel that in different ways. But what happened was, when I got to the major leagues, that combined with the fact that you see veterans, they go, act like you've been here before. Don't show off. Don't be a showboat. Don't get ahead of your skis. When that happened, I took that to mean keep your emotions bottled up. So what I would do is I bottle them up, and then I'd use that kind of like energy to pitch. And that's when I got good. But I still wasn't enjoying the game near as much as I could. To the point where I stopped enjoying it completely. It wasn't I was just relieved when I was done that I didn't have to do that anymore, as opposed to I was enjoying playing well. I was relieved I didn't play bad, which sucks a lot. And that didn't really change until my last year playing at all. And that's on me, honestly. This is stuff you can work on. This is all just happening to me. It wasn't done to me. I could have realized and then found a way to work on it at any point. I just didn't. But what he showed me was he didn't have that, and he doesn't have to act like he's been there because he hasn't been there. And so he's enjoying himself, and that made me I lived vicariously through him. That's sick. And I love that he's having a good time, and I think that there's a very good chance that he's going to play well moving forward because there's a level of comfort there. He was vulnerable with his buddy, it's funny, he said it, and then you see in the video of it, and you can see Trevor Story be like, we are pretty cool, aren't we? Thanks, man. Thanks for the reminder that this is cool. I don't know. Maybe I was projecting, but it looks sick. So that shout out, I just wanted to start with that. But let's talk about Tolley. Let's talk about what he does well and what type of pitcher he is moving forward, because this guy is a monster of a human being. And he's got pretty impressive arms. So this is Peyton Tolley, 6'6", 250, drafted second round last year. His bat, it's pretty good. TCU, classic TCU guy, just comes at you with the flames. He's a high ride fastball guy, high 90s, lefty, but it's basically four-seam cutter. And he throws a changeup, throws a slider, he mixes them in. They're kind of wrinkle pitches, but he's coming downhill thunder right at your face, right at your bush. So 96, 97, and getting swings and misses. High ride, got a nice true backspin four-seam, slightly supinated. That's solid. I believe he's got, what's the vert on it? It's down, we just passed it. No, we didn't. The vert, average of 16.3 inches of vert. Not bad, not the craziest, but it is well above average. And he throws hard enough to kind of negate that. I don't think he actually throws a sinker. I think this was an accident. And it just ran like crazy. Oh no, it only ran a little bit. So it's funny. His sinker dropped as much as his four seam, which tells me it was a four seam. And then he throws a little slider. It's whatever. It's okay. And one curveball, which was probably also a slider. Yeah, it was. So this is a misread curveball slider. This curveball was a slider, and this sinker was actually a four-seam fastball. So he is a cutter, four-seam changeup guy. This cutter's more of a slider. So I think there's something here. Now, what we need to see from him is his changeup and how his changeup is going to develop over time. But for now, his fastball is going to carry him. He's going to be a heavy, hard breaking ball, hard fastball. You may have heard of another Boston Red Sox who does this by the name of Garrett Crochet. He throws his hard cutter and his fastball. Those are his go-to pitches, and Peyton Tolley is following right along in those footsteps. Let me see this extension. 99th percentile in extension. So that 16 inches of ride doesn't matter because he is releasing the ball this close to your face. And when you have that much time, basically his 97 looks like 100. So he's filthy, but he's not filthy in a movement way. He's filthy in a coming right at you way. And we saw that by the celebration on his face. The guy is coming. He has if his command holds up, he will find success. It's just about commanding those two pitches and basically just copying what Garrett Crochet does. If he does that, he will be very good. And I think the Boston Red Sox are in for, at least their fans are in for quite a treat watching Peyton Tolley throw in the future. So expect, I think, ceiling, Garrett Crochet. It's entirely possible that he develops in that way because he does have that type of electric power stuff. And this same stuff was said about Garrett Crochet when he came up, and he didn't even have that cutter. So if that's what you get, that's what you get. Ooh, and he also has great spin. Oh, no, he doesn't have spin, darling. We're talking about Nolan. All right. If you guys were wondering, the garbage is being picked up right now. Are you done? I'm going to let it move on. Editor, have some fun with that. Anyway, what a day we're having. All right, let's do the next one. Let's talk about Jonah Tong. I love this guy. Jonah Tong, guy came out of nowhere. He is the Mets' new phenom, 6'1", 180, 22. Came out of high school. So he's a 22 draft pick, 7th rounder in the 22nd, in 22. So like he wasn't, this guy kind of developed into this. But one thing that's really impressive about him, his extension. He's 92nd percentile in extension as a 6'1" guy. So his average fastball too, he throws very hard, mid-90s, 95 on average. He's only had one start, but he's 95 to 97 is what I've seen in the minors. One thing he did do in the minors, he struck out over 170 guys in less than 120 innings. I guess we're backing up now. I'm literally going to go see. Be right back. Thank you. Fuck. Jesus. Oh my God, the door stayed open. Wow, this is professional. Anyway, I told him to get leave, so we're good. Okay, Jonah Tong. He also reminds me of a guy that was at University of Washington when I almost said pledging. I was going to say pledging, and I just said it twice. When I was committed to go there, and that is Tim Lincecum. Now, he has mentioned in the past that is something he does on purpose. That is a guy who has inspired him to throw the way he throws and have his weird mechanics. Now, what he does really interesting is he hides the ball behind his body really well. We'll see if we can get some video of that for the video. But he hides the ball behind his body, and he's a really high arm slot, 64 degrees. Now, to put that in perspective, Felix Bautista, who is straight over the top, is 66 degrees. That's slightly lower. That's like a Nick Pivetta range, okay? So with that high arm slot, the assumption from a hitter is going to be that this ball is going to go down, right? And he is a north to south guy, don't get me wrong. but his north to south repertoire is pretty impressive. Now, you might see something here. This is average for guys with his arm slot in terms of movement. He's way above it. Way above it in a way that is actually pretty disgusting. Okay, so like look at the movement differences between this guy's two best pitches. I love this so much. Okay, where am I going though? I'm past it. I'm used to seeing the color, but they haven't thrown enough. Okay, so movement profile. Let's talk about vertical drop, four-seam fastball. 9.3 inches of vertical drop. That is insanity. That is probably the lowest drop in the league. That is 21.4 inches of vert on average. So his ball defies gravity better than anybody's fastball probably in the league. He's got to be top 3. There's no way. That's better than Alex Vesia. Like, that is incredible. Can this truck leave? That is driving me in crit. There's only 2 dumpsters. I don't know what's happening. Why are they coming back? Okay, I think they left. Okay. Dude, what? This has never happened before. They usually just go through, grab the dumpster, and leave. This guy's like, beep, beep, beep. Oh, I can't get out. I can't get out. Probably, I don't know. In this alley over here, we got some idiots that constantly are blocking with their cars because they just are oblivious to the fact that anyone else exists. Anyway, Jonah Tom. Okay, back where we, editor, start again. Okay. Four-seam fastball, the highest ride in the league, 100%. Now look at the curveball. 63.4 inches of drop. That is negative 17. So the difference between these two, what just happened? Oh, I just ordered them differently? Oh, okay, yeah. The difference between these two pitches is 38.5 inches. So basically, his fastball and his curveball are a difference of over 3 feet. 3 feet. That is this much. And they look the same for a certain amount of time. Trev, those guys are doing their jobs. Chill, we can hear you. Hey, Mr. Bo, I'm sorry if you know garbage men. My bad. I'm not yelling at them. Well, I am actually yelling at them. But that person driving that truck is not doing a good enough job. Okay? It's been a tough day. I'm sorry, though. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I know he's just doing his job. I know everyone's doing their job. I'm not mad at them as human beings. I just would prefer something to go correctly today. That would be really nice. We started 45 minutes late because everything broke on this stream. So, anyway, I'm getting completely thrown all over the place right now. Anyway, 3 feet difference, whatever. I now no longer know what I was talking about. And then he has the changeup. He throws the Fosh changeup. Now, if you don't know what a Fosh is, I don't have a ball on here, but it is the Vulcan change. It means you split the ball like this, and you throw a splitter, but with these 2 fingers, not these 2 fingers. What that does is it slows the changeup down a lot, but it moves like a splitter. It goes down. His doesn't actually move that much down, but it does have a lot of arm side run. So it kind of functions like a steam shifter changeup, except it spins really slowly. So now he has these 3 pitches. One that goes boom, one that goes boom, and then one goes boom. That is quite the arsenal, and that is how you strike out 50 more guys than you have innings in the minor leagues. And I think this right here is elite stuff. It's elite, and he throws hard. And he has good extension. So if the command and the health line up, he's going to be a stud moving forward. But is he as big of a stud as the next guy we're going to talk about, he is the exact inverse of him, and that guy is named Nolan McLean. Let's talk about him. McLean. Dude. Let's just do this. McLean. By peck, it works. Okay. Nolan McLean. We've talked about how nasty he's been this year, but basically, he is nasty east to west like Jonah Tong is north to south. Okay, so he is mostly sweeper, sinker, side to side. He got crazy run on both, a crazy break into a lefty away from a righty on the sweeper, and the literally exact opposite to righties. So, and he's second all time in the first 4 starts as a Met to Nolan Ryan. That is quite the accomplishment. And he throws 6 pitches, which is also very impressive for a young guy. So let's look at these movement profiles, because we're really looking at movement right now, because that's really all we can go off of. Don't even ignore the fact that he has a positive run value and everything, but his sweeper's still good. It's just been hit the most, if you can say he's been hit at all. So let's look at his sinker, or his sweeper here has 15.8%, inches of glove side run. So it breaks 16 inches to the left at 85 miles an hour. That is filthy. Then you add the sinker that runs 16 inches right. So the separation between these 2 pitches is, you guessed it, just under 32 inches, which is almost 3 feet. Now it's about 2 feet 8 inches. Okay, 2 feet 8 inches side to side is about that much. That is filthy. So Jonah Tong, north to south, he is east to west, but they are very, very similar in that way. Now, this guy, though, probably will tend to get less strikeouts than Jonah will, but he will also give up less home runs, because everything is moving away from the barrel of the bat, which tends to get you ground balls and soft fly balls. When you use the middle of the plate more, but you're up and down, you tend to get the barrel a little bit more and give up more fly balls, which tend to be home runs in the major leagues. So that's what you can expect with Jonah Tong. So that said, though, these are elite movement profiles. Like they're not just like really good for a young guy. They're not. It's not like, oh well, that could be great. That's great now. Like if he keeps doing that, he's going to be good. Great. He's now, and he could be potentially, if he has it all right up here and commands the ball well and stays healthy into the playoffs, he could be an ace. He could be starting game 1 in a playoff series now, which right now he kind of would be. I think he might be the guy they give the ball. So they have 2 of these guys, but it's very clear that these 2 guys are aware of what they do well, and they maximize what they do. And I love to see that. Now it's learning about what to throw when. Unfortunately, they have some veteran catchers, and they have a lot of veterans around them to help them learn. So these 3 guys, I think, have had a big impact right out of the gate. They're huge reasons that their teams are having the success that they are having right now. But I also think that this is very easily sustainable, obviously, with health permitting. So the rookies, they're nasty, and the numbers play it out. It's crazy. He's filthy. So, Reese, what do you think about the Valdez situation yesterday? I covered it in depth earlier in the show. If you want to go rewind on Twitch, we do a new segment probably like 20 minutes into the show. So I would go check that out. I did go into depth and talk about it. So, is Chase Dollander here? Chase Dollander is not, I think, as dialed in and optimized as these guys, though he is very nasty. But there is that question mark around Chase Dollander. He's on the Colorado Rockies, and what are they telling him? Because they are probably not saying the thing that they should say. They should be building 100% for velo. His big slow curveball is terrible in Colorado. Like it's a terrible option in Colorado. Not saying his curveball's bad, but it's just simply the mechanics of that pitch are not going to work as effectively as they should be in Colorado. It's like one of the worst places to throw a big slow north to south curveball. Is Cade Horton on this level? Potentially. But again, his is more erratic. His stuff's more erratic. But he's got, dude, that guy throws cutters for 4 seams. He's so funky. He's like, he's got like a David Robertson type cut. It is weird. So those 2 guys you mentioned, I think have higher ceilings. These 2 are more polished than them. There now. So, all right, we're going to move on. I have one more thing to go, but keep asking questions, guys. We can also just pop into questions. I'm trying to treat the second hour of this show a little bit more like a stream anyways. So I do appreciate it. But yeah, they're filthy. The young guys up here are filthy. The rookies in the major leagues right now, the fact they come up so polished, it's like man, I was just a little early. You know what I mean? Okay, so I have another great. Okay, let's get into the internet says. Okay, we're gonna talk about the internet says because there's some stuff that's been happening on the internet, and I think it's worth touching on. So, for some reason, let me fix this real quick. Why? Oh. Okay. So right now, baseball players are talking about at least, running for Congress. We're seeing something actually happening more. I believe Jay Feely is also running for Congress, the ex-NFL kicker. And athletes are pushing their way into politics very quickly and all at once. Now, say what you want about, we're not going to talk about what they think and where they are on the spectrum. Whatever. Trust me, I just played baseball for 16 years. I know where everyone is on the spectrum. I've heard everything. I know what's going on. That doesn't need to be discussed. What is interesting, though, is why? Like, why athletes want to do this? Because I know I don't want to. And when I played, it's pretty clear that when we were playing that we didn't, like, guys are like, nah, I don't want anything to do with that. Like, pretty much that's the unanimous kind of thought around this stuff. So it's very interesting to see why this stuff is happening. So this is Mark Teixeira. You might remember him from his time as a New York Yankee. Whenever he came set, he'd be like, with a super like focused face. They were always zooming on it. I for some reason I remember that. But he is running for Congress in Texas, even though he is from Maryland. But that doesn't really matter. Just food for thought. So he's not the only guy. And we actually have some breaking news here a little bit around this stuff. That sources on Capitol Hill, familiar with Texas 21, told I'm Trevor May Media that Teixeira is absolutely the frontrunner. We have sources that have told us that he is the frontrunner in the election just a few days after announcing the intent to run. His initial campaign announcement on Twitter was over 3 million interactions. Has already been interviewed by Fox News because he is running on the Republican ticket, as you probably would have guessed. But additionally, we have Adam Wainwright talking about running. High-ranking Democratic campaign official told Trevor May Media that it could become more common for the Democratic Party to target athletes to run centrist candidates like Wainwright in Missouri, too, in order to appeal to a wider voter base and make up the ground in what would otherwise be a non-competitive races. Okay, when I hear stuff like this, first of all, like at one point, I'm gonna be like, he wants to run because he actually has things he wants to do. Like, that would be nice. I don't know about you guys, but like just hearing like, hey guys, I have some ideas that maybe could be, I don't know, they could work. We never hear that. We're like, this guy's gonna run because we told him to. Seems kind of silly to me, because it is, but they're running. These guys are running. Adam Wainwright possibly on the right or on the left, and Teixeira on the right. Okay, so we already saw that. So I got to thinking, what other athletes or what other baseball players do I think should actually run for office? And number one on my list is this man, Jonathan Kruk. Why, you ask? Because I would think it would be funny. No, I just would love to know what type of ideas he has on the way to go. Like, I just want to know what this guy thinks about stuff. I think he's hilarious. I would love to see John Kruk get asked a question and be like, what do I say? Like, I just think that would be entertainment value. And I think that that's what a lot of people look for politics to be. So, John Kruk, what do we think? Would have the best hair in the office? Yeah, he would definitely need to grow this mullet back out, for sure. For sure. He's a national treasure. Who else could we possibly run? What about Derek Jeter? Why do I think Derek Jeter should run? Because he'll get 99% of the vote. Thanks. No, Derek Jeter, he has executive experience. He's very good in front of the camera. He had by all accounts, very, very fun parties at his house or in his apartment in New York City for a very long time, and no one ever said a bad word about him. And in this day and age, that is impressive. This guy keeps it tight, and those are the type of people we need in office. So, and he's Derek Jeter. Like, who doesn't know who Derek Jeter is? All right. Tommy Pham. Number 3, why? Fight him. I think Tommy Pham would be a great option because he'd just frown at you. He would just glare at you. He'd just glare people into submission. And sometimes you just need a guy to glare. If not, Tommy, I totally don't blame him if he doesn't like that. But very minimum, can he at least just stand behind people and glare? Because that is very effective. I'm getting it right now. He's not even glaring. Number 4, Kike Hernandez. Because whatever's going on right here. Do I need to explain this? You guys know why. That would be funny. It has the energy like if we elect this person to any office, we're gonna get free soda in the cafeteria. You know what I mean? Like he's that guy. He's that guy. He's the cool guy. He's like, hey guys, I don't know how we're gonna pay for this, but we're gonna do it. Or maybe number 5 on my list, a guy, as we know, a guy who brings sunshine into every room because we have enough angry people. We got enough vitriol happening in politics right now. And I want a little bit of sunshine. And there is no one with more sunshine naturally just exploding out of their being at all times than Jeff Francoeur. Look how happy this dude is. Look how happy Jeff Francoeur is. I know he probably doesn't want the job. I know he probably doesn't really know what to do with it. But there was a time where a minor league team convinced him that one of his teammates was deaf for 2 months. And he just was just a great guy about it. And it was very accommodating. And he's just awesome. And if you don't like Jeff Francoeur, then I don't like you. The guy's a man. The guy's a man. All right, we have 5 more here. Dallas Braden. Do you know why? Personally, big fan of Dallas Braden, but also this guy, he's from Stockton, California. This guy stands up for where he's from. He is very loyal to his community. He has very strong opinions about that kind of stuff, and he is not afraid to say what he thinks. This is the type of guy that is already very involved in his community. I know he probably doesn't want to be a politician, but he does do great work in his hometown. And I think he deserves some credit for that. So I wanted to put him on this list. Dallas Braden is one of the best people out there. Anyone who's never met him, he's phenomenal. He's so cool. I really like him. All right, number 7. Let's fire these off. Jose Ramirez. Just because he's going to just do it. He's just going to get the job done. He's going to look at you like that and be like, no. And then it's just a no. Like nobody ignores him. He says something, you do it. Jose Ramirez. Max Scherzer. I don't think I need to explain this one, but when he feels strongly about something, he would be very loud and clear about it, and he would not let you forget if you ever made a dumb decision. But Max is a guy who runs through brick walls, and that's all politics are brick walls. They're everywhere, and he would just destroy them, and everyone would be afraid of him, and that is something we need. So I think that Max should run, and then I think Tommy Pham should stand behind him. Thoughts? All right, last couple. This is 2 people, and I think they should run as one. Max Kepler and Brian Dozier. Because, let me check my notes. Because Congress isn't very, very attractive anymore. So I'm pretty sure Max is like a German citizen, though. So I don't know if that's even possible. But maybe just Brian. But look at these 2 guys, man. I'm a man. That's 2 good-looking guys. Maybe they've come up with some good ideas. I don't know. Probably not, but maybe. Good teammates, though. Good friends. Miss you guys. All right, lastly, I'm going to throw a CC Sabathia out there, another guy very similar to Dallas Braden. His community, the people that he cares about, and the things he cares about, he stands up for them, he talks about them, and he says what he needs to say, and he fights for the stuff he cares about. That is very admirable. He's also a great pitcher. He also just was like, hey, by the way, I think I'm just going to lose 50 pounds. And he did it. Basically, the guy's done everything he's ever set out to do. And those are the types of people that tend to be successful in political careers. And he's also very eloquent and speaks very well. So I'm a big CC fan. It's going to be interesting moving forward with the CBA and stuff because he is very involved with the with the commissioner's office for other initiatives. But that's it. Hall of Famer? Like, what's your next thing? I feel like he's like The Rock. He's just going to appear everywhere. And I'm okay with that. So, CC, if you're down, I'm down. All right? Cool. That said, just anyone but should share. All right, moving on. A couple more things from the internet. Something broke there. Oh, no, it didn't. All right. So a couple weird little stories here. Clippers reportedly circumvent the salary cap for Kawhi Leonard. Now, I did not know this. This is interesting. We're talking about the salary cap a lot on this show. It turns out that Kawhi Leonard signed a $28 million endorsement deal for a no-show job, meaning it didn't exist. He didn't go show up. He was just paid to do nothing. This is something that happens sometimes. With the fraudulent tree planting company funded $50 million from Clippers owner Steve Ballmer, just because they didn't want to put it on a salary, and so they want to avoid the salary cap. Now, Steve Ballmer has his own list of problems, but it turns out that this is a prime example of how salary caps can be circumnavigated. Now, it's interesting because in this case, player gets some money, which I love. That's great. But this is the type of things that these people do. So, like, this is what I mean by when salary caps are put in place, they're usually pretty open-ended somewhere. There's lots of loopholes to get around it. This is one example of that. But in a more positive fun story from the internet, because I love the internet and there's a lot of good stuff there. Every single time Jonah Tong, who is Canadian, struck out a guy in the Mets game, they would put a little Canadian Mets guy up there with a K, which from South Park, which I think is just, I mean, the Mets got a pretty dang good, in-stadium presentation, but the SNY broadcast is really, really well done. They have some cinematic stuff going on there. I love like the split screen stuff, and this is just another example. Jonah Tong, the Canadian, the guy they love, he's nasty and he deserves all the love in the world. And then lastly, Trevor Story hit the craziest home run ever, the first ever home run that was established by StatCast of being a homer in 0 parks. Let me show you. He popped up a ball to right, and a play was tried to be made, and it wasn't. I want you to see this in slow motion. This is where the ball ended up hitting. If you really squint, you can see pesky pole. So it goes off his glove, off the pole, and then in his glove. So because it hit the pole, that is a homer, my friends, a 306-foot homer. The shortest homer ever. And the only home run to be a homer in no parks. It was guided into the pesky pole, which I think is hilarious. And then, isn't that interesting? Really quick, I'm going to hit it right at the end. A couple last things, and we're going to answer some questions and get going. Here we go. Julio Rodriguez, widely considered a very good player or not a very good player, depending on what month you're watching him play. Now, Mariners fans have been very conflicted, right? They say, why they really push Julio Rodriguez. He is the stud of this team. However, Cal Raleigh tends to perform more consistently and better. Why is that? Why is he not becoming a superstar? They're only saying that stuff when it's not July and August and September, because this guy's first half and second half splits, not only for this year, but for his whole career, are redonkulous. And I don't know why. So let me show you this. That's the wrong photo. Okay, this is comical at this point. I'm just going to read this to you. What a doofus. Here's his splits. That's the wrong page, too. Here's his splits. Pre-All-Star break, he hits 260 with a 410 slugging and a 737 OPS. He's striking out 25.2% of the time, and his average exit velo is 91.2. Post-All-Star break, he's hitting 298, 552 slugging, and a 900 OPS, and he strikes out 23.1% of the time with an average exit velo of 92.3. He makes contact 3% more of the time. He hits the ball 95 plus 3% more of the time. And he chases more. So somehow, he is the only person on the planet who chases more, strikes out less, and walks less, and hits better. And I don't know why. So I have some theories. I think that it's possibly because he puts a lot of pressure on himself during the career to get the guys going or whatever have you. But it is what it is. But Julio Rodriguez is an enigma of the fourth kind. And I want to know in the comments of wherever this video is put what you think. Why is he so good in the second half? I want to hear all of your theories. And the last thing is our crazy fact of the week. That's me again. Crazy fact of the week is, after only stealing 36 bases in the 1964, the Mets brought in Olympian Jesse Owens to be the team's running coach. Now, you may know who Jesse Owens is. He won the gold medal for the United States in the 100-meter dash and many other track and field events in front of Hitler in Germany, okay? We've talked about him before because he won the gold medal when Jackie Robinson's older brother, Mac Robinson, took the silver in those same games. So the Mets hired him. Owen said that the team was too flat-footed and now they had some spring in their step. Unfortunately, the Mets would only steal 28 bases the following season and get caught 42 times. So they got measurably worse at stealing bases, but they were faster, so there's that. Okay. All right. Here we go. And that concludes our show. How are we doing in the chat, guys? Thank you guys for being here, hanging out. I'm so hot. Can you share thoughts on the two big things yesterday? Valdez crossing up his catcher and Kyle Freeland being a crybaby. Whoa. John Doe? Don't do that. That's so annoying. I hate that. I hate that, like, whatever hitters do is fine and pitchers need to just wear it. It's so annoying. Okay? Yes, he shouldn't yell at him. But should he yell back? No. It's not 100% on the pitcher, so save that. Save it. They're allowed to be pissed off and frustrated too and feel disrespected because it is disrespectful, but you should be able to handle it. Now, I'm not saying don't say anything, but hitters shouldn't be able to do whatever they want and then pitchers have to be like, I should just pitch better. No. You can win gracefully. You don't have to be a dick. There should be a world where you don't have to be a dick and it's okay to be like, hey, stop being a dick. Now, that said, Freeland kind of took it past that point. I will say that. A little bit too far. He lost his goddamn mind, which I also understand because the Rockies suck and Kyle's kind of not been great this year. And I've had those moments. And you're not proud of him. And I'm sure he's not proud of it at this moment. But for him to say he doesn't get to react at all is also annoying and bullshit. So let's, I'm going to defend pitchers because they're allowed to show emotion too, negative and positive. Because people who call pitchers crybabies all the time get really, really upset when they celebrate a strikeout, which is the only thing they got. I'm on one today. I got 4 hours of sleep last night. I'm sorry. I'm coming at people hot. Everything's been broken. But I do appreciate you being here. It's been a rough one, though. Sometimes you have rough days. Like, I'm hoarse from talking. But I do appreciate you. By the way, and to do a breakdown, to answer your question, I talked in depth about this and really broke it down and in the way, not quite the way I just did, a little bit more of a objective kind of way. If you go back in the VOD about an hour and a half. First 30 minutes, I did a really extensive breakdown of the situation, which was interesting, to say the least. I shouldn't have posed the question. You're like, hey, what do you got on Framber crossing up his guy and Rafael just hitting a home run and Kyle being a crybaby little. It's all good, man. I didn't mean to come at you so hot either. But it's really hot in here. Can you see how sweaty I am? See how red I am? It's because I'm hot. But the Valdez thing was interesting for sure. Yeah. In my professional opinion, it is likely that he did that on purpose. You don't react that way. If something surprises you, that's not the way you react. He was frustrated. You could tell he was frustrated. That is not the way to handle it. That said, I don't know what else there is to do to to go at your catcher, but crossing him up is not going to get you on the same page. Not a great thing. I blame the garbage man. It's not the garbage man's fault. It's no one's fault. No one's ruining anything. I'm just being a whiner. I'm being a relief pitcher. One thing you guys need to know is we are uniquely skilled at complaining. That is literally our roles on teams. Sometimes we just go, I don't want to get dressed today. Like, it's just, it's kind of like we suck. At the end of the day, we suck. We suck. All right. But that said, I don't think Devers' celebration was any different than any other. He's hit a homer off me and acted the same way. Like, it wasn't that egregious to me. Like, he wasn't standing. He was walking and then he jogged really slow. He always does that. It wasn't that much different. And then the jogging back and forth got really heated really quickly. They needed to not do that. But I'll also understand why both of them could be really frustrated because things have not gone as well as they wanted to this year. So, okay. All right. We answered so many questions today. We don't need to do AMA. I'm going to get out of here, guys. But I do want to say, skipping that, I want to say thank you to everyone in the writer's room, Henry and DK. Thank you guys so much for dealing with me and my crap. Fema and Maddie Messina, thank you for editing. Emily Jude for all the scheduling and everything she does too. She's amazing. She helps me so much. Danny and Game Over in the chat. Thank you guys so much for moderating for what can be a nightmare. But I'm glad you got to experience a little bit of old Trevor today. Even not like he left or anything, but today was serious technical difficulties. I do appreciate it. Thank you guys all so much for being here, chill and hang out. If you have a question and you're like, dang it, I wish I would have asked that on stream, you can go in the Discord. Please join the Discord, ! Discord. Next time we do a mailbag, we will be doing it in the Discord too. I think you guys get the chance. I just was kind of behind the 8 ball in the speed, and Discord usually is slower. So I want to give you guys like a week to answer questions there. But if you have questions, put them in there. And next week, we'll be doing Nasty's pitches from August. So if you have a pitch from that month that you haven't posted, please post it. But I think there's like a billion of them in there. So maybe don't. And we will do our countdown of our favorite ones and do our little rating system like we did. And we'll do that next week. On time, next week, Wednesday, noon, we will be live. Had a weird thing happen today. I really appreciate you bearing with me. Sometimes I just got to kick the stream down and go. But it is just me. I do the whole production here in front of me. So thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Maybe it's time to start building in some backup stuff. Or just not worry about it. Probably just do that. All right. You guys have a great rest of your week. Drink your water. Stay hydrated. It is warm out there. Watch your baseball. We have September races happening now, and rookies coming in and making big plays. So enjoy watching the game, and I will see you next week right here on Trevor May Baseball Channel for the second hour, first hour over on Foul Territory. And I just want to say thank you to all my friends that have subscribed to all of this stuff. So I'm going to leave you with them, and I'm going to get out of here. Bye. 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 DK, what up? Sorry, man. Sorry that was just an hour longer than it's supposed to be. It might still work. Probably work. I'm gonna call you on the phone. I can just see you. I can just see you falling, knocking over that light. The TV goes down, shatters.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't. It's because it's today. That's why.
Yeah, but good show.